Oh, that's a big lightning. Yeah, that's right above us. Hello guys, welcome to Welker Farms. Nick Welker here. Leg Arms is running around down there. That's my younger brother. Yes, he's younger than me and his name is Leg Arms. Not really, that's his nickname. His real name's Scott Welker, but his arms are big, so we call him Leg Arms. It's happening. If you guys have been following us, we've got 2 pads that were poured here for 2 25,000 bushel each Westeel bins. We're excited to do this. It's gonna be awesome. We got 2 smooth walls over here that still need put in place. We haven't done that yet. But it's gonna happen here, guys, so stay tuned. I'm gonna be putting cameras up, time lapses of this whole thing. You'll be able to watch these bins go from the ground up to the sky. It's gonna be beautiful, I can't wait. These things are gonna be magnificent. We've been waiting a long time for this to happen, so let's get the show on the road. If you guys wanna know what's happening, just watch the video. It's gonna be awesome. We might stop occasionally and explain what's happening, but it'll be good stuff, so let's roll. What do you think, guys? Pretty sweet, huh? So they got the roof on, the first ring, and it's taking a little longer because there's stiffeners on it, but they're getting ready to jack it, and then they're gonna put another ring on, and you'll watch that baby just shoot out of the ground like a big galvanized mushroom. And then they'll start the second one. All right, let's get back to it. Pretty cool, guys. In just a few minutes, this bin here is gonna have liftoff. So they've got hydraulic jacks all the way around the bin, which is actually anchored to the roof, and they're gonna lift it up, then they're gonna start another ring, bolt it all up, and then take those jacks, lift them from those rings, and just keep on going up. So they got the generator, or I don't think it's a generator, I think it's just a hydraulic with a gas-powered motor. It's running right now, and let's see this happen. And they got this one, and another one to do. All the sheets that they need for the entire bin is actually inside the bin. So when they raise it up, they've already got the sheets kind of laid out where they want. So that way when they put it up, they can just stick them up, bolt them up, put the stiffeners on the outside, get that all secure, move the jacks down, and lift it back up again. So they're just gonna keep on doing this process until all the sheets are done, and when the bin's actually all the way up, then they'll anchor the bin down and then start on the aeration floor. But this is really, really neat to see because that thing is just evenly going up. With the hydraulic jacks, everything is just smooth, uniform, slow and steady. And the weather right now is absolutely gorgeous. Perfect time to do these bins because there's no wind and it's just nice out. So they could not have picked a better time to do this. At least I think they couldn't have picked a better time. But this is fun to watch, guys. So before they go too high, they're starting to put all the sheets in line where they need to go, and you can see right over here there's an open spot. They're going to start putting one there, but they're just going to keep on lifting up a little bit, move a sheet into place, get it ready so that they can just quickly bolt it on, because this is a very crucial time. If something happens to fail, it goes down and part of the sheets are on, well, that's not very good. But with these hydraulic jacks, they're not going to have a problem. That is just so cool to see that thing going up in the air like that. Now, for those that don't know, we used to have no bins here. Oh, fancy that. Actually, that's kind of self-explanatory. No, what we used to do is if we had any extra grain from harvest and we needed to put it someplace, and the elevator was full and we had a tremendous amount, we would dump it in piles here. So there's 2 25,000 piles here last year that we had right where these bins are. Guess what? Each one of these bins are 25,000 bushel bins. So that means we don't have to put anything on the ground like we did right here. They're actually going to go in the bins. Now, not saying that we won't have to put anything on the ground. We hope we do in a way, because that means we've produced more bushels and we don't have enough storage for it. That's a good problem to have. But we don't want to put stuff on the ground if we don't have to. That's why we made a very critical decision on getting bigger bins, and we went with Westeel because, well, they blew everybody else out of the market for their price, and you know what? So far they look like really good bins. And they just lift themselves too. It's kind of neat. This is really, really fun to watch, actually. So what they're doing right now is they've actually got punches from the inside, and one guy is taking it, sticking it through the holes, lining them up, and then he's actually putting the bolts through, putting a nut on it, and they're just hanging the sheets for right now, and then they'll go through and put the rest of the bolts, bolt it all up, put the stiffeners on, and away you go. Second ring going up. Then they're gonna be putting on the third. That's awesome. There's no way, I know you guys are thinking it, but there's no way I could lift that up. I'm just not that strong, guys. So when they put these bins up, each seam that water could go through, they put this little strip, this little scrap piece that they didn't need. It's kind of like a silicone, like a rubber, kind of like a tar. I don't really know what it's made out of, but it really seals well. So when they bolt the sheets together, it squishes this, and then it makes a watertight seal. That way, water doesn't get inside and start spoiling your product that you have inside the bins. All bins have to have it. And if they don't put it on correctly, you're going to start seeing water seepage coming through, and it's going to spoil the grain or whatever product you have in there, and you're going to have a mess. Not fun to clean up. But yeah, really necessary. Now, that bin has 2 more rings to go on it. So it's got to go up a little bit more. When they finish that, they'll move to the next one after they secure it to the concrete slab. And then they have to put the unload tube inside and install all this aeration floor. This aeration floor is a very small holes across the whole entire thing, so that way your product, whatever type of grains you have, cannot fall through. They got these 2 big fans over here that'll force air underneath this floor and lift it through your product. And as it's being lifted through, all that moist air or the humidity or the moisture that's in your product will rise to the top. Now when it rises to the top, you have to have a way of letting all that air come out of the top. So they've got these things called vents over here. Now you could open the top of the lid and let it go out, but the problem is if it rains or you have birds, you don't want that stuff to get inside. So these vents have a little curl and allows it to breathe without getting any more moisture inside. Let's take a look at those vents. Well, since they're working on that bin, and I'm just kind of standing around watching them, I'm the supervisor. Yeah, it's scary, right? No, I figured I might as well clean up all these concrete blocks that we pulled out that used to support those 2 smaller hoppers right there. Well, we don't need them anymore, so I'm moving them. We only have 2 loads left. That one and that one. Let's get going. Well, I quickly ran to town, got some bits for them to punch some holes in the concrete to anchor the bin, because theirs was all wore out and they didn't. They thought they had a spare one, but they didn't. Well, coming back, the wind was blowing pretty good and it's starting to rain on us pretty good. So they're going to shut down, and hopefully the wind does not pick up and do anything crazy, because if it picks up and really starts howling, it picks up the bottom of the bin, that bin could go bye-bye. So let's hope it doesn't get to be that way. But we're getting a little bit of shower here, and I'm gonna head back to the main farm and we'll just kind of wait it out and see what happens. So a little scary, but yeah. Oh, that's a big lightning. Yeah, that's right above us. Well, that storm came through. It only took a few minutes for it to dry up. They went back at it. They're just now starting to anchor down parts of the bin, not all of it. Because if we look over here, it looks like there's another storm kind of coming. And if we have any big breeze or anything, we just don't want that thing to turn into a sail and hurt people. So we're just gonna anchor down, and then they can keep anchoring it as they go. But it's kind of a time cruncher right now. We're doing a fantastic job though, but safety has gotta be on our mind right now until this thing's anchored down. How they anchor this is they use the stiffeners off the bin. They have a bracket that bolts to it, and then you just punch a hole right into the concrete, and then you bolt it down. And so they got a little special, it's actually fairly similar to what we use on the other bin over there, little anchors. So count them with a hammer, and then you take an impact and suck them up tight. We're standing inside the 25,000 bushel bin, and it's looking pretty nice. Isn't that awesome? This bin, it's crazy to think the building that we just cleaned out of peas, that this bin is the same size roughly. We could probably do about 30,000 bushels in that bin. This one's about 24, 25,000, give or take. But yeah, this is big. But what they need to do is they're gonna go ahead and start doing on the next bin, putting that up, and get that all the way up, secure it. Then they'll come back in and start installing the floor aeration, the clean out tube. They gotta cut a hole, because it doesn't have a hole in the sheets, so they'll gotta cut a hole for the fan to come back in, mount it on the side, and a few other things. But this is fun to watch. I mean, just seeing the whole thing come in pieces like a Lego kit. And what is very interesting is these guys are actually looking at the instructions and reading it to a T. Legos for me, I threw the instructions away. I'd rather have these guys look at the instructions and do it right the first time instead of doing it over. But this is awesome. And this actually has a really neat sound acoustics in it. Has just a very nice echo. There we go. But it's probably gonna change when you get the floor in. All right, let's go see what they're doing. the bin crew is putting up the bins. I'm standing there twiddling my thumbs every once in a while, and there's still work to be done. So I figured, why don't I just start playing Tonka and move some shale over to the area that we're going to put those smooth walls at, because the reason for, we need to build that area up before we start forming it and getting ready for concrete. Well, this stuff here is called shale. It's got this clay-based material, and it packs hard. When you take something like this, you pack it really good, then it rains on it, it gets even more packed. When you build your forms, the concrete sitting on top, it's going to be really, really good foundation. In fact, all of our big bins, besides the 2 that are on right now, all of those were built on shale, and there's very, very few cracks inside. Concrete will crack, you can't stop it. But we've had great luck with this shale ground, and I'm going to take a couple loads and start making a pile, so that way I can build a foundation, because it's going to rain this weekend. That means I'm going to drive the International Eagle dump truck, Big Cam 400. Oh. And yes, they both have cool horns. I love this truck. It's got power. For a little dump truck, it does well. That's fun. Let's go grab another one. I made a mistake using the 7140 to smooth this out, and I got way too close, and now I gotta patch the side of the building. Not what I wanted to do. All right, don't get that close. Well, luckily there's gonna be 2 bins right here, and you really won't see it from the road, but oh, I hate making mistakes. Just don't tell the other guys, that's all I ask. They're not gonna be happy. They're doing a really good job at spreading all this horse manure. There's a feedlot near our place about 3 miles, and they got to get rid of all that horse manure. Well, this company comes out and they put it in their trucks and start spreading it, and it is fantastic fertilizer. What it does is it changes the soil complex from a very high pH soil that we have into a very, well, neutral base. It gives an opportunity for the organisms to start working and breaking down the soil, and the plants do better crops, better food. It's awesome. Let's take a look at this thing in action. So they're spreading it on top of the soil, and then what we'll have to do later on is we're gonna have to till it in. So we'll grab our plow and our heavy hair or coil packer, and we'll till it in, so that way it mixes in, starts the process of decomposing, breaking down the soil, and yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Because what happens is our soil gets so hard, such high pH level, that things don't grow in it very well, and it's challenging. And to build that topsoil, which we really don't have much topsoil, it takes a long time. So this speeds up the process, and the results are phenomenal. We're very happy to have this. It is super stanky out here. Oh man, when they just start spreading it out of that truck and the wind blowing, well, keeps people from wanting to move out here, right? Oh, that's rank. Smells like money to me. Isn't that something? Just driving down the county road, all of a sudden there's this little fox. Little young guy. He's kind of cute, wouldn't you say? Well, he's not trying to bite me. That's kind of cool. Yeah, he's a cute little guy. He's probably just a few weeks old. Things are good, so yeah. I'm happy. So if you guys liked what you saw, please subscribe. And thank you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. God bless, guys.